Not even in front of your face because you were a coward. You left and went to sleep. You passed out. Not even sleep. You passed out because you were so drunk that you didn't even stay there. And your words are adding years to your sentence, the words that you said. Mike.
Yeah, Bill, I was looking at the chat, and people have used the word torturous a couple of times, and I agree 100%. You know, this we only have her word that this started out as a game, and that it was all just fun, and and that sort of thing, and it just turned bad. It's likely that it started on the second floor with the suitcase being there, tumbling down the stairs, and we get to the bottom of the stairs. She hit him, so you got the staircase, you got him in the suit, going down the staircase, you got him in the suitcase, you got her hitting him. If he got his finger out of the suitcase, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But, that's torturous. And then he's not laughing like, hey, honey, this is funny. It's kind of warm in here, that sort of thing. It's kind of warm. I'm kind of confined. I'm a little claustrophobic. No, he actually told her, I can't breathe. And I don't care how drunk you are. That's on you, because at that point, she's on notice. So it goes from a possible manslaughter, reckless manslaughter kind of situation to an intentional, torturous situation. Too bad she fell asleep. That's just the way it goes. And he died for it. He paid for that with his life. And so therefore, she's now going to forfeit a good chunk of change. And I think you're right. If he can give her more than the minimum, because remember, like you say, like you reminded everybody, she's already done maybe 5 years. If he gives her a 22 and a half to life, she may be possibly eligible for parole after like 16 years. If I'm the Torres family, I'm very upset about that. He may go for like a 30 to life if he's allowed to, depending on what the parameters are for a first-time offender. But she's looking for a good stay, a well-deserved stay in prison.
Yeah, I mean, it's anyone that watches this. From the chat, P, I'm a survivor, and Jorge was a victim. My ex was everyone's friend, and closed the door, then switched. I was trapped. Don't ask why women stay, please, as it's shaming. Look, there's a whole psychological reason why victims are victims, and there's many reasons, and we're not going to go into it on this show, and we're certainly not trying to victim shame anyone, but we wonder that lots of times too, as the police that respond to these domestic violence incidents, and we see victims who have been beaten, victims who have been abused, victims who have been mentally, psychologically, physically abused. And yes, it occurs to us as, why do you stay? And we know the system doesn't provide an alternative that is a panacea for this, but it's better. The whole criminal justice system, if it any consolation, it's better now than it was years ago. And that's no consolation really to people that are abused. But in the last, I'd say 20, 25 years, there's almost like when the police respond to a domestic violence incident, there's practically like a must arrest almost every time. And that when the police respond, like myself, I could speak for myself, and Mike will probably tell you the same thing. He was a sergeant. You felt much better putting one person or two people in handcuffs and having the system deal with them than saying, okay, listen, I'm not going to arrest anyone, but you guys behave, blah, blah. You can't trust that. So you walk away and one of them kills the other one. Who was the last person there? Oh, Sergeant Cannon was he responded there at 9 p.m. And what did he do? Oh, he warned and admonished, and he advised them and gave them a referral of going to family court. And then the husband stuck a knife in the wife's chest. No, thank you. That never, ever happened to me. And obviously it never will because I'm retired. But I erred on the side of locking someone up. And maybe both of them. If that protected the life of one of them, and the parameters to do that weren't that wide. And as I said, I would err on the side of putting someone in handcuffs. Mike, your thoughts?
Billy, I agree. I remember talking to a sergeant in years early when I was a patrolman, and he just asked me, he goes, what percentage of domestic violence cases end with at least even a complaint report? And I said maybe 10%. He goes, yeah, it's about it. And then you start to think about it. Yeah, nobody even bothered even making a complaint report. And then years later, when I was a sergeant in Manhattan, in my precinct, I'm not going to say a precinct, but one of the cops said that's what happened. He went to a job with the family, and they didn't make the arrest. And then an hour and a half later, the husband killed the wife. And so he goes to prison. She's dead, and the cop loses his job. And and it was horrible. So I think New York City erred on the side of safety, starting I think back in the early '90s or something like that. And I think that's a good way to go. Even in here in Winter Haven, Florida, with Jorge and George and Sarah, even with that sort of must arrest kind of situation, and they had been both arrested at least once before. It's still difficult because of the intra-family dynamics between the boyfriend and the girlfriend and the husband and wife. But at least it's what the municipality, what the state can do to try to stop this stuff from happening, further violence, because we have seen that in some cases it does seem to lower the level of violence when people know, no, you can actually get arrested by the police.